Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all audiences. How are you today? Pleased to see you all in your awesome conditions. In this occasion, we would like to present you our discussion result about the declination of Legislative Assembly Council in Indonesia. On behalf of Group 2 of 12 Science 6, please let me introduce our team. I'm Madina, and our group consists of Reza, Nazwa, Wafaa Nabilah, and Yasir Habibi. We firmly state that Legislative Member Council is not needed. In this presentation, we are going to deliver you a little information about the Legislative Member itself, reasons why we don't need the Legislative Member Council in Indonesia, plus a solution if we successfully eliminate the Legislative Member Assembly in Indonesia. To start with, let me tell you what is the Legislative Member is. Member of the Legislative Assembly, or MLA, is a representative elected by voters of a constituency to Legislative Assembly. Most often, the term refers to subnational assembly such as that of a state, province, or territory of a country. Still, in a few instances, it refers to a national legislature. In general, legislative members have a legislative, budgetary, and supervisory functions. They have a lot of duties as well. Their duties include preparing and discussing draft laws or RUU, discussing opinion proposed by the President or DP, and most importantly, absorb, collect, accommodate, and follow up on people's aspirations. However, despite their quite functional duties and functions, our group believes that legislative members are not needed due to the widespread and normalized abuse of power, the buy and selling political position transactions, corruptions, nepotisms, and etc.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Wafaa Nabilah. Here I will mention some of the biggest corruption cases committed by DPR. First, atlet host bribery case. KPK is still prosecution indication of corruption in the procurement process of the 191 billion SEA athlete host project. The procurement of the project involved athletes at the House of Representatives, the Ministry of Youth and Sport, and the local government. There are two members of the House of Representatives as suspect. There are one Muhammad Nazaruddin, former General Treasurer of the PD. A defendant, Nazaruddin is also a suspect in a money laundering case for the purchase of share in PT Garuda Indonesia to Angelina Sondak. The second, land grabbing corruption in Riau. The land grabbing case in Riau involving the owner of PT Dota Palma Group, Surya Darmadi, and the former region of Indragiri Hulu for the 1999-2008 period. Tamsir Rahman has attracted considerable attention. Surya Darmadi is suspected of corruption in the grabbing of 37 hectares of land in Riau through PT Duta Palma Group, resulting in a loss to the state of 39 trillion. The next, for drug procurement case, Salah Jasid, an FPG member of the House of Representatives, became the first member to be detained by the KPK. Salah was allegedly involved in corruption in procurement of fire truck when he was governor of Riau. He was detained since March 19, 2009. Saleh was eventually sentenced to 4 years in prison and fined 200 million. The second case is nepotism. Political nepotism is the provision of preferential treatment to families or relatives in certain political powers, whether in the legislature, executive, or judiciary. This condition occurs in many political parties when party officials are violated by the families of party leaders. Until now, political nepotism still occurs in Indonesia. This condition is ironic, even though one of the reform ideals is to eradicate nepotism, which is considered the cause of the New Order regime depravity.
Plan Act. Then what does this have to do with the DPR? The DPR is one of the parts that is considered to feel that Indonesian law is being blown downwards. So what is the example? For a sharp example, we can take the story of Mina's grandmother, who was thought to have stolen 3 cocoa pods, even though this didn't happen. But in the end, Mina's grandmother was still considered to 1 month and 15 days with a probation period of 3 months, and of course, Reza cell in general. And for a blunt example above, there is Setnop or Setia Novanto is a remainder of the Republic of Indonesia's DPR for the 2014 until 2019 period. In 2017, he stumbled even an EKTP procurement case with Nyoman Demeter involved in a Burberry case. Then, where is the problem? They were punished accordingly, and fact were not punished according to them. Still, because they are have luxury even in a cell. Okay, next issues number 4. Where does the DPR show that he is just doing empathy talk? From the previous discussion, I took the example of Mr. Satnop's corruption. This proves that there is no continuity between the vision, mission, and action. I took the 6th point of Mr. Satnop's vision and mission as an example. Determining the politics of legislation and politics. Golkar Party budget to realize the vision of a welfare state in state policy and national development. Can we see in the back? Mr. Satnop is actually in prison instead of assisting the citizens here in Indonesia. There are lots of DPRs like this, so it would so better if the DPRs were just abolished.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm Reza from Group 2, and this is my argument about our People Representative Council. The government never listened to the aspiration of the people. This is evidenced by the many demonstrations by the people due to their disappointment over the government's performance that it's not appropriate and burdensome to the people. Thus, this argument states that the government doesn't work according to its duties. For example, there are still many people who suffer from social inequality. Try to combat with the official who spare with the wealth and that they have built up, even though wealth is the result of corruption. So, what is the point of People's Representative Council if they become the enemy of the people themselves?
The view the word of the people representative. Consider DPR is not directly proportional. The norm of the Republic reflect public dissatisfaction with the performance of the representative. Some people may feel the political representation does not adequately reflect the need and habits of the people. To improve is presented greater transparency, public participation, and accountability in the decision-making process could be important step. Encouraging more effective and inclusive representation can help bridge the gap between the role of the DPR and the norms expected by society. The sustainability on the amount of allowance for the House of Representatives, DPR in often the subject of debate and criticism from the public. The feel that this allowance a privilege facts concave about the allocation of the accountability of prevention of their consent. It is important to understand the detail of benefit as well as ensure the salary and benefit policies are reflected fairly and transparently. Open discussion and evaluation of benefit structure can help ally policy with community experience.
Okay guys, as we navigate the final mistakes of the legislative members that make us sure as ever to believe that we don't need legislative members in our country, we also come with a solution as a substitution of eliminating the bar by transferring into the legislative members' thoughts to the current state of affairs of policymakers, such as the governor or the mayor, because they live closer with people, am I right? They surely can collect and hear the people's voices more clearly and can certainly make a decision of what to do. For example, DPR's responsibilities can be delegated to mayors, while DPR responsibilities can be integrated into the governor's office. You may disagree with our idea that you might say, wow, that's a dual work practice, dual functioning. Don't you guys care about the governor themselves? Don't you know that they also have a family which is also should be taken care? They've got too much things to do if dual functioning occurs so. And we're going to answer it now that even if it appears to be the dual function of government officials, we should recognize that the responsibilities and tasks above indeed should be one of the vital part of the responsibility and task of a government official in the very first place. And we've already learned as well in the history lesson that it is totally fine of a government official to have dual function in doing his job. We've got an example of dual function of Abu's dual function during the New Order era, where the military was allowed to hold strategic positions in the government. From this dual function, there is political stability which can be a driving force for the success of the programs launched by the government as well. And when we say this, we know that it is not so heavy because the officials have a team too, consists of like a secretary, financial manager, this and that division, and coordinators that will help them manage. And based on the Quran, La yukallifu nafsan illa wus'aha. Allah doesn't require money soul more than what it can afford, and fa'inna ma'al usri yusra. So, surely with hardship comes ease. Just believe that Allah will help you if you are righteous and religious. In addition, we believe that this will provide reassurance to legislative candidates about the importance and heavy amount of working in the culture's government, especially as one of the main administrators, so that we, as non-candidates, as electors, are sure that they are firmly ready to be the mayor of the city or governor of the province, knowing that they already know how heavy their responsibility is to be a government official. We can say that they passed the nature selection. This diversion, in our opinion, is potential to reduce the state's spending on the salaries of legislative members, which are quite large, which have now reached, in slang language, double-digit salaries and police allowances. The saved funds that were used to pay legislative members can be utilized for the community, like province or city or district's development and economic growth, while they can also be used to boost the salaries of the government officials so that they become anti-bribe and to appreciate their hard work. We think this is way more effective to maximize the performance of the government and boost Indonesia's cultural prosperity and progress as well. It is obvious that the existence of the Legislative Member Council have more disadvantages than advantages. And because we provide a solution as a substitution of the Legislative Member Council, the government is better try the alternative solution for the better Indonesia to be. Thank you.